So here we are, the most important game of the college football season. We have LSU versus Clemson. Now before I get into it, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. I upload college football videos and NFL videos daily. So, at the start of the season, nobody expected LSU to be here. We knew LSU was going to be one of the better teams in the SEC. But if you were to tell me at the start of the season that you thought LSU was going to be in a national championship game, I would call you a liar. Now, Clemson, it isn't a surprise that Clemson is here. A lot of people had predicted Clemson to be in a national championship game this year. Now, both these teams had great matchups. Well, not really for LSU. I mean, LSU, they dominated Oklahoma. They dominated Oklahoma's offense in a way that I've never seen a Lincoln Riley offense get dominated before. They outcoached Lincoln Riley. They outcoached the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma. And I mean, this secondary for LSU is one of the best secondaries I've seen in a very long time. Now you got the defending national champions. You got Clemson. Clemson is a juggernaut. You got a bunch of NFL wide receivers. You got Justin Ross, Amari Rodgers, and things like T. Higgins. So it's going to be interesting seeing these group of wide receivers facing off with one of the best defensive backs in the nation. Derek Stingley, Grant Delpit. And I mean, let's talk about Clemson, right? So when Clemson was playing Ohio State, it was a very physical game. Very physical. And Ohio State, for a good duration of that game, was able to take away the passing game of Clemson and force Clemson to run the ball in a way that nobody was really expecting. They took away Travis Etienne and forced Trevor Lawrence to have to step up and carry the load. Now, I don't think Ohio State meant to do that on purpose. Try to force Trevor Lawrence to carry the load in a ground game for Clemson, but it happened. Trevor Lawrence literally, not figuratively, not metaphorically, he literally carried Clemson on his back. So, for LSU, you were able to contain the rushing ability and the scrambling ability of Jalen Hurts. But can you contain Trevor Lawrence and his newfound rushing ability and newfound athleticism that I didn't know about? Because Trevor Lawrence, to me, looks like one of the best dual threat quarterbacks I've seen in a very long time. With what he did versus Ohio State, if he's able to do that same thing that he did versus Ohio State, versus LSU in his national championship game, LSU's defense is going to be in for a true test, unlike when they played Oklahoma. Because you see what LSU did against Oklahoma was they were to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket. They had good containers on the edge. They never let Jalen Hurts get outside. And Jalen Hurts didn't have a lot of big runs inside. They forced Jalen Hurts to stay in the pocket and forced him to beat them throwing the football. Now, for LSU, that's not really what Trevor Lawrence is. He's not really a run-first quarterback like a Jalen Hurts. Now, he can beat you with his legs like we saw in that game versus Ohio State, but it's not really his game. He's really a quarterback who really just wants to throw the football. But his rushing ability, based on what he did versus Ohio State, is something if you're LSU, you most definitely have to take accountability for. You most definitely have to take that into account. Because that's why Clemson was able to beat Ohio State. Because Ohio State kind of got took by that element of surprise. They were not expecting Trevor Lawrence to have the ability he had running the football. So, the question is, what is a key to an LSU victory? Right? So, I think a key to an LSU victory is the secondary for LSU has to keep on playing the way it has been over the last couple of weeks. Against Georgia, they played well. Versus Oklahoma, they played well. So, I mean, this is probably one of the biggest tests this LSU secondary has been matched up against all season. Now, for a lot of you guys, you're going to say Clemson, if you're a Clemson fan, you're going to say LSU has never faced the offense like Clemson. And if you say that, I would have to say you're wrong. Because Clemson faced Alabama a couple of weeks back. Now, Alabama has a lot of talented wide receivers on that roster as well that will be first-round picks that will be playing on Sunday. And Clemson was able to come out there and win that game. Although it was without Tua Tagovailoa, it was still one of the most talented wide receiving corps in all college football. So LSU has been matched up against talented wide receiving corps before. Now, for LSU, are they going to be able to stop Travis Etienne? Because Travis Etienne is a big part of that Clemson offense. What he does running the football and what he does out the backfield when it comes to catching passes out the backfield, he means a lot to that Clemson offense, right? So you got to be able to try to take him away. Then you got to try to be able to try to slow down these wide receivers of Clemson. You got Justin Ross. You got T. Higgins. I mean, you got a lot of good players. So, if you're LSU, Derek Stingley, Grant Delpit, Fulton, those defensive backs for LSU, they're going to have to be on their absolute A game. Because although I did say they played a talented wide receiving group, which was Alabama a couple of weeks ago, they haven't really played as good of a quarterback. This is probably the best quarterback LSU has played all season, Trevor Lawrence. So, what if you're Clemson? What do you have to be able to do to beat LSU, right? Now, Brent Venables is one of the best defensive minds in all college football. So, what he has to be able to do is, you got to be able to get pressure on Joe Burrow. Now, I think a good blueprint of trying to find a way to slow down this offense is going back to that Auburn game. Now, although LSU still was able to rack up the yards on Auburn, Auburn kind of gave the blueprint, right? Auburn was able to get pressure on Joe Burrow. Now, when you get pressure on Joe Burrow and force Joe Burrow to get the ball out quick, you force him to take the short passes instead of him trying to force the ball and throw the ball downfield vertically. Because this is what this LSU offense loves to do. They love to push the ball downfield. We saw versus Oklahoma, all you just saw was deep shots left and right? So, if you're Clemson, that pass rush has to be really effective. You got to be able to get pressure on Joe Burrow. Because if you're able to get pressure on Joe Burrow, then you don't allow those deep pass routes down the field for LSU to develop. So, a key to a Clemson victory is getting pressure on Joe Burrow, trying to limit the big plays in the passing game. And for Clemson to win this game, they obviously have to be able to slow down these wide receivers. And for Clemson, can their wide receivers be stopped? Can LSU, if they want to win this game, stop these wide receivers the same way they were able to have a lot of success against Oklahoma's group of wide receivers? Now, Oklahoma has a really talented group of wide receivers. Although some of them were young, other than CeeDee Lamb, they had a very solid group of wide receivers as well. So the question is, can LSU secondary be able to stop this passing attack of Clemson? Now, we saw Ohio State had success being able to stop this passing attack of Clemson for most of that game. The question is, can LSU and that secondary have success stopping that passing attack of Clemson and being able to find a way to account for Travis Etienne trying to take him out of the game? So, the team that I'm going to win this game, I'm taking LSU. LSU is playing this game in their own backyard. They're playing in this game in Louisiana. It's going to be a lot of LSU fans. It's going to be a good amount of Clemson fans. But trust me, I'm pretty sure that stadium is going to be packed with nothing but LSU fans. So you got to take It's basically a home game for LSU, so crowd noise is going to be a factor. And also, Clemson's defense has been pretty good, but LSU's defense has been playing lights out. Ohio State offense is one of the best offenses in the college football. But Oklahoma had the second best offense in college football, and LSU was able to slow them down and blow them out. So I'm going to take LSU. LSU has been battle tested. They being some of the best teams in college football. Clemson beat Ohio State. But LSU is battle tested. Joe Burrow, something about Joe Burrow is magical. And this LSU defense has been clicking over the last couple of weeks. So I'm taking LSU to win this game. I think LSU wins this game 28-24 is my final score prediction for this game. So let me know who you guys have winning this game down in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and college football videos. And thanks for watching.